You've been lied to. We did tax the rich. We taxed them hard, actually, up to 94%. And no, it didn't kill the economy. It literally saved it. So why doesn't anyone talk about that? Because billionaires don't want you to know that it actually worked. Every time you talk about taxing the rich, there's always the people that say the same things. That's not fair. They'll just leave. They earned it. This won't fix anything. It'll just hurt jobs. But the truth is, we've already tested this. We taxed the rich hard, and it built the most prosperous era in U.S. history. Here's exactly what happened. In the 1940s, President Franklin D. Roosevelt raised the top federal income tax to 94%. Yes, I know that number sounds crazy, so let me explain. That didn't mean that people were losing 94% of the income that they had earned. That's called a marginal tax rate, and it only applied to income above a certain threshold. In 1944, the 94% tax rate only applied to income above the $200,000 income threshold. So essentially like making, I don't know, $3.5 million today. So that means that you would pay the normal rate on the first couple million, and only the income above that would be taxed at this 94%. And I feel like that's the part that nobody ever really explains, and the billionaires count on that confusion to protect themselves. So what did this money pay for? It paid for the New Deal, including Social Security. It paid for massive public jobs programs during the Great Depression. It paid for all of World War II. It paid for the GI Bill, which sent 8 million veterans to college. It paid for the interstate highway system. It paid for the original versions of Medicare and Medicaid. It paid for public universities, hospitals, housing, and scientific research. And one-income households could actually afford a house, a car, and a vacation. And all of that? Yeah, all of that happened when the richest of Americans were paying between 82 and 94% on their highest income. And guess what? The economy fucking boomed. And then came the 1980s. Reagan slashed the top tax rate from 70% down to 20%. And what happened? Wages stopped growing, middle class started shrinking, the CEO pay exploded, billionaires hoarded record wealth, and income inequality has skyrocketed ever since. So no, this is not some coincidence. The second we stopped taxing the rich, everything started falling apart for the working people. So let's shut down the excuses one by one. But that's not fair. You know what's not fair? Is billionaires using things like public roads, public schools, courts, police, and workers, and then hiding their wealth in offshore accounts and shell companies, to avoid paying taxes. They didn't get rich alone. They used a system that the rest of us paid for to get to where they were. But they'll leave the country. Nope, try again. The US taxes worldwide income. So even if they do move, they will still owe money. And when France passed a wealth tax, fewer than 1% of rich people actually left. Cause be so fucking for real right now. Do you really think that these billionaires are gonna be giving up their Manhattan condos and their media empires over a 2% wealth tax? Let's be fucking serious. It'll hurt jobs though. The biggest job booms in American history from the 1940s to the 1970s all happened while the rich were taxed the most. Because back then it made more sense to invest in your workers rather than spending millions on stock buybacks. But it won't raise enough money. False again. A 2% wealth tax on people worth more than $50 million would raise around $3 trillion in 10 years. And if we also did things like, taxing capital gain like income, closed estate tax loopholes, and remove the Social Security income cap, we could raise over $10 trillion without ever touching the middle class. Oh, and with that money, we could easily pay for things like, universal childcare, tuition-free public college, canceling all student debt, national paid family leave, a real national housing strategy, fully funded Social Security and Medicare, public transportation upgrades, climate infrastructure, and real reparations programs. All of that without raising taxes for real everyday working people. Just by taxing the extremely wealthy people, like we fucking used to do. And these billionaires would still have way more money than they could ever know what to do with or spend. So no, taxing the rich is not this new radical idea. This is how America used to work. It built the middle class, it won wars, and it gave millions of people real stability. And when we stopped, the system broke. Wages froze, prices soared, and the rich kept everything. So when they say we can't afford to tax the rich, what they really mean is we don't want to share. So I don't know about y'all, but I'm sick of sitting here fighting over breadcrumbs at the bottom of the table when somebody else is eating the entire feast. Fucking wake up, people.